From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. In Washington, D.C. today, President Barack Obama took the oath of office for his second term.
With hundreds of thousands of people jammed into the National Mall, he was sworn in by Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts. Now, in his speech, Obama looked to the future and at what he said America can accomplish if we all work together. He urged action on the deficit and global warming and keeping kids safe. Then the Obamas, with Michelle, headed for the inaugural parade where they would walk down Pennsylvania Avenue to the White House.
And here locally, citizens punched the alarm clock early to take in the inauguration activities. News Center 11's Daryl Lewis was at the J.P. Jones Community Development Center just after 7 a.m. as many Fairbanksans marked the occasion in the spirit of togetherness.
So help you God? So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President.
Many in attendance this morning on a local perspective said the second time around just as sweet as the first.
He's been re-elected. That is double the enjoyment. Yes, because they didn't give him a chance of being re-elected either. And of course, it happened, and we are very proud of that.
The inauguration of Barack Obama, a moment celebrated worldwide, even way up here in Fairbanks, Alaska.
His inauguration today and Martin Luther King celebration, and the day of service, he has 4 years of service to put forward again, and I'm looking forward to the programs that he brings forward and the solutions that he pushes forward, because that's what's important for this country.
And with that, the tears flowed, and people of all races and creeds, Americans all, young and old, lived in the moment.
Well, to have this inauguration on Martin Luther King's day of celebration is just incredible. It's very moving.
I am, number one, proud to be Alaskan. Number two, proud to be American. America is, like I tell my little granddaughter, the American flag is the most beautiful flag in the world.
Now, a general question that's been circulating as of late, the inauguration itself and the fact that it was held on the King holiday. Disrespectful or not? Many I spoke to this morning say as far as disrespect is concerned, they beg to differ.
For there to be a president reelected for a second time and to be honored on his day, it's helping his dream to be realized. And so Obama simply represents that dream realized. So I think Martin Luther King will be very pleased.
Well, tomorrow marks the anniversary of the Supreme Court case Roe v. Wade. This case led to a decision that her right to privacy under the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment extended to a woman's decision to have an abortion. Tomorrow, in observance of the case, the Interior Right to Life group will be displaying a peaceful demonstration from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Cushman Street Bridge. The theme this year, Have a Heart for the Unborn in the Heart of Fairbanks.
Really, all we are is a funnel. We're just here to tell people there's an alternative. And the alternative is to choose life. And you don't just say, well, choose life, figure it out. We're saying choose life, and we'll try to point you in a direction that can help you make that decision easier.
All right, so weather.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. You know, it's been up and down,
for
this whole month, and you know, a little later on, Mike's going to tell us whether it's
I
going to
heard
get
him
cold.
give me a little tip that he's saying that it may drop down to 30 below again.
No.
Mother Nature just keeps teasing us, you know.
Well, we'll find out from Mike in the weather block. But when we come back, the Interior is experiencing a population boom of sorts. We'll tell you the current numbers.
And legal professionals offer free services to the Fairbanks community. Stay with us.
This edition of the Fairbanks Evening News is brought to you by Northland Hearing Services. Better hearing with a human touch.
And welcome back. State officials say the Fairbanks North Star Borough gained about 2,800 new residents between 2010 and 2012. Now that's an increase of 2.8%. According to numbers released by the Alaska Department of Labor late last week, that puts the estimated borough population at just over 100,000 people for the first time. And they say recent arrivals are at the heart of the population boom. That is right. Growth has been attributed to births. The state estimates residents in their 50s and 60s that are making up the bulk of residents leaving the area, while those in their 20s and 30s, the typical childbearing years, making up most of the people moving in. Alaska's population as a whole grew 3.1% from 2010 through 2012, with an estimated 732,298 people living in the state.
It has become an annual tradition for legal professionals in the Fairbanks community as those seeking legal guidance received free advice today at the Rabinowitz Courthouse. The project is a joint public service project by the Alaska Bar Association, the Alaska Court System, Tanana Valley Bar Association, the UAF Community, and Technical College Paralegal Studies Program. Lawyers today answered initial questions regarding Medicare, Medicaid, evictions, child custody, divorce, rental properties, and Social Security, among other topics. The intent behind the day was not to seek new clientele, but rather to guide those unfamiliar with legal arrangements and proceedings through what can be an extremely complicated process.
I love being able to provide services and help just help the community, and I think a lot of us feel that way. There's a lot of speculations about the justice system, that they're not really out to help the people, but you're there to help and guide and do what you can.
The newly created Senate Special Committee on In-State Energy will start meeting this week as the legislature gets to work. Now, the committee is tasked with solving the state's energy problems and will begin its work with an overview of the Alaska Energy Authority. Senator John Coghill of North Pole said the committee will begin its work by taking stock of Alaska's energy resources, where people are suffering, and the possible fixes. But other legislators say some proposals will favor the profits of the oil companies.
That when the big three oil companies are raking in record profits from high energy prices, Alaskans will no longer receive their fair share of these windfall profits. And the reality is we may be laying off teachers and firefighters while outside shareholders are rewarded with billions in profit from our oil.
A new plan by the Bureau of Land Management would allow mining in part of the White Mountains National Recreation Area north of Fairbanks. The BLM says the Alternative D plan is not its preferred alternative for the management of the 1 million acre area. The plan is also causing concerns about the compatibility with a recreation area used by skiers, hunters, and others. The Alaska Wilderness League says the area is just starting to recover from previous mining activity. Now, the alternative is a supplement to the Eastern Interior Draft Resource Management Plan that BLM released last year. Comments to that plan challenged the exclusion of mining.
Well, mushing legend Jeff King has won the Kuskokwim 300 sled dog race for the 9th time. The race kicked off from Bethel Friday. King and his 12 dogs crossed the finish line in Bethel 11 a.m. yesterday, followed 1 hour and 5 minutes later by Tony Browning. 56-year-old King has more than twice as many Kuskokwim 300 wins than anybody else. He last won the 300-mile race back in 2006. He broke his brake from riding it so hard, from riding it so hard, and he says he didn't have it was his brake, on his sled for 150 miles. Now, the winner's purse this year is $22,000. King spoke to the News Center late last year about his book and his times and trials in his years of sled dog racing.
My book is 16 chapters. It's in its second edition. It was written a couple years ago, but it's I've been telling stories of my Iditarod and dog mushing career for many years, and I finally put in writing the favorite stories people have about my most exciting, the scariest, the funniest, the most exciting moments I've had on a dog sled, and how I ended up in Alaska doing what it is I'm doing from the hills of California.
Well, I always
Broke
thinking
his-
he broke his back.
broke
No,
his back
broke
or
his
his
brake.
brake?
I've ridden. I know.
He's
what
gonna
it-
break your
I
back
ride-
if you're
exactly.
that.
But no, any guy who holds two puppies like that, he's
Oh,
gonna break a back.
Joe.
Joe holds
Hey.
puppies.
Hi, it's good.
Exactly.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, you know. I didn't want to disturb your conversation.
Oh, no,
but
it's okay.
we have some big sports coming up in the sports segment. In the interior, we're talking Ice Dogs, their bounce back performance, the Seawolves and Naniks rivalry up on the hill, and the Naniks hockey team, they did something major on the road. That and more in sports coming up next.
Did they break their back?
Yeah, they broke the foot. They broke a foot.
Brought to you by the Law Office of Rita T. Alley. Peace of mind through professional legal services.
Hello, Interior Alaska. Joe Cook here this Monday, and it's time for a loaded weekend recap. The big news this Monday is the Naniks hockey team with two huge sweeps. Last weekend, the Naniks swept the Michigan Wolverines for the first time ever. Then they go into South Bend and shocked the number 5 team in the nation with a thrilling 5-4 victory. Jarrett Granberg's second goal of the game with just 3 seconds left in regulation, sealing it for UAF. On Saturday, the Naniks win 2-1 to sweep the Fighting Irish. All the scoring happened in the first period, with the Naniks scoring 2 power play goals after trailing 1-0, thanks to Notre Dame's Thomas DePauli's called for a 5-minute major penalty. Both teams played great defense for the final score. John Keeney made 19 of 20 saves. Tyler Morley scored the game winner, and Nick Yaremchuk scored the first for UAF, who went 2 of 6 on power plays. Tyler Morley and Jarrett Granberg were named the Gong Show Rookie of the Week and the Gladiator Offensive Player of the Week by the CCHA today. Morley had 3 points this weekend, and Granberg had 5 with 3 goals and 2 assists. And in the big game, it was UAA versus UAF, Fairbanks versus Anchorage, and it was a good game and a sight to see at the Patty Center. It was a packed house with a reported over 1,100 people in the Patty, and the game lived up to the hype with both teams riding winning streaks. The game was tight from tip to buzzer. The largest lead was just 9 by the Seawolves. The Naniks put together a good first half, forcing 11 turnovers and scoring 16 points off of the UAA miscues. Ronnie Baker paced the Naniks with 12 points in the first half and finished with 15. The Naniks led 32-25 at the half. In the second half, after being held to 37% shooting, the Seawolves hit some big shots. Liam Gipkiss had a game-high 18 points for UAA, but the biggest shot was Adibi Demissi's three-pointer that gave UAA breathing room late in the game. With a 59-54 advantage, Adibi finished with 17 points. The Seawolves left the door open, but the Naniks went 11 of 21 from the free throw line, and UAA stops the Naniks winning streak at 6 games with a 65-60 win.
We weren't taking them for granted. No matter how much we've beaten them in the past, this is a whole new team, and I give all props to their coach and their team because they play basketball.
And free throws was a big reason why we lost this game. I mean, me personally, I missed 2 big free throws towards the end of the stretch.
I mean, we haven't lost since November, so we get to start a streak again on next Thursday.
The thing that got away from us was the boards. 40-29. That's not indicative how we've rebounded the last, 2 weeks in the GNAC. So that stat stands out to me.
The Naniks women's team had chances against Northwest Nazarene, but still not enough offense to win. The Naniks were down at halftime, 22-29, and late in the game, the Nooks get on the break. Kelly Logue ties it at 45 all. Logue finished with 10 points, 7 boards, and 6 steals. The Crusaders answer with the 3. Less than 2 minutes to go in the game. Benisa Bulai's game-high 12 points. She made it 50-54, but the Crusaders out-rebounded the Naniks 51-36 and hit their free throws late. UAF was 0 for 18 from 3. Megan Hinston had game-high 14 points for the Crusaders and hold off the Naniks 59-50. The Ice Dogs were in the Big Dipper this weekend hosting the Springfield Junior Blues, who were on a 4-game winning streak and were coming off a sweep of Wenatchee and showed it with a 6-3 blowout of the Dogs on Friday. The Ice Dogs responded with a gutsy performance, taking the game to the limit on Saturday with a 2-1 shootout victory. The Ice Dogs had to rally down 1-0. Garrett Clement scored on a power play goal midway through the third to tie it at 1-1. Both goalies were huge. Steve Perry, 21 saves on 22 shots, and Ryan Kellenberger stopped 39 of 41 Fairbanks shots on goal. It took 7 turns for the squads, but Jason Angus, the beef dog, if you will, scored a shootout goal to lift the Ice Dogs to victory. In high school basketball, there were some achievements over the weekend in girls action. After losing to Valdez on Friday, the Hutchinson Hawks answered with a 70-61 win on Saturday. In that game, Mimi Woods scored her 1,000th career point with a 17-point outing for the Hawks. Congratulations to the North Pole Patriots girls squad. Had a rare home game and defeated the Monroe Rams 45-37. Patriots Josie Broderick, crazy stat line, 12 points, 8 boards, and 9 steals. The Rams were led by Sarah Hadukovic's 13 points and 11 boards. And boys basketball, the North Pole Patriots won the Dean Cummings Senior Memorial Tournament in Delta Junction. North Pole, with 1 win on the year, won 3 straight. Ray Tamsey had a game-high 19 points, including 5 trays, to lead the Patriots in the 58-53 victory over the Galena Hawks. Tamsey, Anthony Gibson, and Khalil Stewart, who posted 3 straight double-doubles, were named to the all-tournament team. And that does it for sports tonight. Thanks for rocking with me for a little while. Tomorrow we'll have a special story on the WWE. They were in town Friday night and Channel 11 was there. By the way, my 49ers, they're in the Super Bowl. Hey, you knew I had to say something, right? Mike Schultz, another happy Niners fan, has your full weather forecast coming up next, and we'll catch you next time.
Well, guys, I was expecting snow last night, but not quite that much, about 2 to 4 inches all over town. Right. I got to go home and shovel my driveway now.
Yeah, I certainly, you know, it started off not much, and then by the end of the evening, sure.
It was just steady is what it was, consistently steady. We're looking at temperatures right now still above normal, but then after that, it looks like it can drop like a rock again. We'll tell you more about that in just a little bit. I'm sorry about that. Let's go out the airport right now. 0 degrees, that's our temperature right now. 11 was the high, the low last night, 0. Record high 47, that was set in 1961, but in 1906 dropped down to 61 below. Sunrise this morning at 10:10, sunset at 3:58, giving us 5 hours, 48 minutes of daylight. That's a loss, or a gain of, I keep getting a loss, a gain of 6 minutes from yesterday. All right, here's our photograph for today. Pioneer Park Winter, sent in by Alicia Libby, just a postcard shot there. Again, if you photograph to share, by all means send to Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. Okay, what's going on in the satellite picture today? Well, we have, once again, lots of clouds down to the south. They're moving up slowly from the south, which means warmer temperatures and more moisture. An opportunity for more snow developing probably by tomorrow night into Wednesday, or actually in Wednesday into Thursday, and temperatures cooling off too. Lower 48 weather, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but over Alaska, once again, fog around the Juneau area, showers across Gulf of Alaska. Up and down the west coast, not too bad. Look at Bethel and Nome, 30 degrees and 18 degrees, 5 below at Barrow and Fort Yukon, 7 above. The lower 48 weather is starting to pick up a little bit over the western half of the country. Once again, very quiet, but more cold and more snow moving across the Great Lakes. It shows up really good on the satellite radar. As you can see, the pink indicating where the wind-driven lake effect snows are happening, and another system moving across from Canada. The overall later on this week potential is showing a lot of snow potential across parts of the Great Lakes area, right on down through the northeast to cold air, and that's going to continue. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. We're looking at blowing snow in Fort Yukon, flurries at Nome, and partly cloudy skies at Barrow. Here in the interior, should be mainly clouds increasing throughout the day at both Fairbanks and Healy. And over the southeast part of the state, rain and snow changing to rain at Juneau and rainy skies for Ketchikan. Over to the southwest we go, looking at cloudy skies at Bethel, rain and snow for Cold Bay, and rain for Kodiak, so a real mix of weather there. And over the south central regions, rain and snow in Anchorage and Homer, and snow likely for Valdez. Well, the kids were off for school today, so we'll start up our kids' weather tomorrow, but we'll have a weather fact for you tonight. And that's part of our kids' weather program. In 1990, West Palm Beach, Florida, sizzled at 86 degrees. Again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank. And tomorrow, we'll start back up again with the kids from Salsha Elementary School. So here's your forecast for the remainder of the night. 6 degrees below zero, clouds slowly decreasing throughout the night. Tomorrow's forecast looking at partly cloudy, becoming cloudy by afternoon, 6 above for the high. And the extended forecast, as you can see here, the trend for temperatures dropping pretty good by Friday and Saturday, 30 to 33 below. Overnight lows and daytime highs around 15 below. So, Joe, the cold air is coming back again.
Oh,
sorry, couldn't keep it for you.
So.
You missed it, right? Well, we'll just try to deal with it the best we can.
But remember, January is known for this kind of weather,
Yes.
and then so is a little bit of February, but once we hit March, hopefully it'll
It's
be
going to
gone
be
for good.
beautiful summer. You're going to love it.
Everyone keeps telling me about this, so I'm
Sun
pretty
never
excited
sleeps.
about it.
Lots of daylight.
Okay, well, speaking of something else wonderful, make sure to download the new KTVF mobile app for your iPhone, iPad, or Android smartphone. Get up-to-date local news, sports, weather, and more wherever you go. It's really cool.
Wonderful, thank you. All right, that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, Brian Williams and the NBC News team recap the inaugural events of this day. That's next with Brian Williams.
And be sure to check us out online at webcenter11.com.
And unfortunately, I got to end in tonight with some sad news.
Okay.
One of our local, very, very special people, Ted Fathauer, our weatherman Ted Fathauer, unfortunately passed away this morning. Ted was a great friend of the community, one of my best friends and my mentor, and we wish the best to his wife, Mary Ann, and give her thoughts and prayers. Ted was 68 years old. And that will do it from all of us here at the News Center. Have a good night. We'll see you back here at 11.